Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you my thoughts, my opinion, my review on the Cold Steel Air Lite folding knife. Now, the main reasons why people may want to buy the Air Lite folding knife, the reason why I did, is because it's lightweight. And it's also supposed to be very strong and usable, durable for being such a lightweight knife. And I have found that to be the case. I mean, if you look at this thing, you get it right out of the box. I got it, and you could shave the hair on your arm. But that is my experience with all of Cold Steel knives. Cold Steel knives, the Cold Steel company is my favorite knife making company. Years ago, I was introduced when I became an adult to Cold Steel. I think I seen them on YouTube, and like you guys may have seen the test that they do with the Triad lock system, where they hang weights off the handle and see how much weight it can hold. You know, once I seen that, I was just really convinced about the Cold Steel folding knives because I wanted a folding knife. Yet at the same time, I was concerned what happens if you go to cut something or if you have to stab something and it comes back and slices your fingers off. Nobody wants that. I certainly didn't want that. But I seen that Triad test with the hang the weight off, and I was convinced at that point. And then I watched a lot of Lynn Thompson talking about the knives. You know, he'd go down and talk about the grind of the knife, the style of the knife, the different blade types, the handle, the Triad lock, and all that. And I was just very interested. I've always been interested in knives ever since I was a small boy. I used to collect the knife magazines when I was a little kid, you know. There'd be these big fancy knives like dragon handles and all that. It was just so cool. And I've just always been into knives. But now about the Air Lite folding knife and about Cold Steel and the Triad lock system in general, what I want to do and what I think somebody should do, which I have not seen a review on yet, is in order to test this Triad lock system, I think we need to, and what I used to do when I was a boy, and this would really give it a good test, is attach the knife to a long stick, say like a broom handle. You know, because I used to make these little wannabe spears when I was a kid, you know, and act like I was a caveman out hunting and things like that, and I'd throw this homemade spear, you know, see if I can get it to stick into things. Now, if you were to attach one of these knives to one of these handles, one of these homemade spears, and really throw it, say you throw it at a wooden fence or a big chunk of wood or something like that, and get it to stick, the amount of velocity you can get with a homemade spear with a knife on the front, I think that would be an excellent test to see how well the Triad lock system holds up. Now, somebody, whoever's watching this, maybe is an idea. You can try that and send me a video of it. Or, if nobody else does it here in the future, I plan on doing that. I think that would be a great test. Okay, let's take a close-up look at this Air Lite here. If you look at the handle, two slabs of plastic, it looks like, bolted together. The front's the blade, the swiveling blade here. Then you got the lock system. Now, if you try to bend this plastic, it doesn't bend. You try to push it in. It's a little bit of give, but not really. But you hold that in your hand, and it seems to be a really good grip. I mean, look at close details on this handle. It's a bunch of dots all over this thing, like pixels. And I think your skin just really grips to that good. And the handle's wide enough, fits right there. Just get a good grip on that knife there. I went with the Tanto point. I think I do also have one with the other point. I think they call it a drop point. But I like the Tanto point. If you look close at the Tanto point, the grind on there, both sides are grinded to a point up top. So you got like a 4-angle grind to a point there. And if you imagine once that makes contact, that's like a you know those double-edged knives? And I think they're illegal where I'm at in California. But if you look at this, it's kind of a double-edged knife, double-edged point there. And the reason why I got this Air Lite is because I dress in office casual, so I usually wear some black slacks with a button-up shirt. And I like to have a good knife on me at all times. I actually keep 2 of them on my casual office attire, and you will not know that I'm carrying any knives. And I don't want it obvious that I'm carrying a knife around my colleagues and my children at their schools, so on and so forth. I think it can be kind of intimidating. So I did get the pocket clip from another knife that was black, and I put that on there, and I would wear that. So the black pocket clip would blend right in with my pants. You'd never even know. And then I do wear another Cold Steel, a smaller, real small Cold Steel up on my belt loop. And my other pocket, on my left pocket, I carry a pepper spray. A small pepper spray fits right in my pocket with just a pocket clip showing. But those pocket clips blend right into my pants. You can't tell. And the Air Lite's super lightweight, so you don't feel all that weight hanging on your pants, hanging on your belt, etc. And that's why I really like it. One thing I do notice is that the pocket clips that are black, they always rub off. The black paint does rub off. So I need some kind of black metal pocket clip so I don't have to worry about it constantly rubbing off. Of course, this pocket clip fell off and I lost it, missed one screw, and then it became loose and both screws fell out. But razor sharp knife, that's what I like about it as well. I try not to use it cutting anything. You know, I open a lot of boxes and do things around when I need a knife. I try not to use my main Air Lite knife that I carry in my pocket. I want this thing to be razor sharp always. So I try not to ever use it. Now, utilitarian stuff that I need to open boxes, etc., that's when I pull the small Cold Steel off of my belt buckle. Actually, here it is. Now, you can see how dirty it's gotten over the years, but this thing works really well. Let me see if I can remember the name of it. Mini Air Lite. That's right. That's the Cold Steel Mini Air Lite. There's two sizes of this as well, the small one and the big one. I'm going to do a review on these as well, but I keep this Air Lite Mini on my belt loop. Then I keep this Air Lite on my pocket. Try not to use this one, but this one to slice open boxes. Whatever I got to cut with this Air Lite Mini, that works great. Another thing I noticed about the Air Lite knife is that it's balanced. If you put your finger right here underneath where the blade attaches to the handle, right in the middle point, it will balance perfectly. And I like that because sometimes you need to throw a knife. When I was a kid, I used to practice throwing knives a lot. Matter of fact, one time I threw a knife at a rattlesnake that went right between my friend's legs and stuck the rattlesnake. Almost cut him in half with my pocket knife. And I always brag about that, and I'll never forget that. But it was a huge rattlesnake. And it was a bunch of me, my friends, my cousins. We were all out in the field. And this rattlesnake went right between my friend's legs. We could have got bit, but I pulled out my knife, just threw it down, and stuck that rattlesnake. We ended up killing the rattlesnake. I don't advise killing rattlesnakes. I was a pretty dumb kid, and I ended up killing a rattlesnake, but I do not advise that. Now I want to show you how well it sticks into some cardboard when I'm throwing the Air Lite. How good does that tanto point penetrate? All right, yes, as you can see, that tanto point penetrates very well. Opening and closing the Air Lite is quite satisfying. When you open it up and it pops right into that Triad lock, that feels good, sounds good. But if you want to open it with one hand, you can do that as well. It's not really hard to open up, but it does have some good tension there, so it's not going to flop open accidentally when it's in your pocket or bouncing around somewhere if you got it in a bag. It's going to stay closed, but it is possible to open it with the one hand. And I love doing that too. There's just something satisfying about doing that. Feels like like you're doing some kind of switchblade or something. And sometimes when you're working and you only have one hand, you can pop it open that way, or you just use that thumb push button, whatever it is there, and that opens it up quite well too. Just scared of that one because I don't want my thumb to slip off, then it closes down on the tips of my finger there. But you could do it like that. I like doing the one-handed pop. But the Air Lite is my go-to knife. It's my everyday carry knife. It's my main knife that I use. And I have a lot of Cold Steel knives. I have the real big ones as well. I mostly just keep that in my drawer in my room. I have several of them, and I plan on doing some reviews of those as well. But the Air Lite's my main knife. When I was growing up, I just carried a folder knife, but it was just a cheap folder knife that you'd get at the 7-Eleven or something like that. And once I found out about Cold Steel, I just it's a good quality knife. I think I paid for this one $100 on Amazon, which I think was a pretty good deal for what it is. The steel is supposed to be really good, 100 times better than the steel that our ancestors had. You know, with the when they had iron and they advanced into making steel. The steel that we have today is leaps and bounds better than our ancestors had. So if you can get this for $100, it's well worth it, in my opinion. Another thing I wanted to point out is this lever here where you use for your thumb, it is adjustable. So you can screw it in further if you want to use it on your right hand, or don't screw it in as far if you want to use it for your left hand. The grind, if you look closely, right from here, from that right below that thumb lever, straight to the end and downwards, you'll see that it's ground down straight to the edge there. Then if you flip it over, you look at the other side. Same thing, ground straight down to the edge. So you got both sides evenly coming down to a fine edge there. You come up towards the point, you got the exact same thing in the other direction on both sides. And that is one of the reasons this knife will just slice through wood and plastic and rubber like a hot knife through butter. There's some things that I do working on my car that tools will not do. I mean, sometimes the only thing I can find that will get the job done is a Cold Steel knife. And I'm not just saying that. I was putting in a window in the SUV I had one time, a Ford Escape SUV, the small wing window in the back. And you had to cut the old part of the window out in that thick, hard rubber, the glue that holds the window. I could not get it off. Using pliers, razor knives, box cutter, etc., screwdriver, trying to get it just wouldn't work. Only thing would work was a Cold Steel knife. Actually, the knife that I used was the Colossus. And I just stuck that in there and sliced right through that rubber like it was nothing, pulled the glass out, and it was fine. I remember working on a car, and there was a wire harness where the connector was stuck in there. My pliers would not get it off. Screwdriver with a flathead could not get it off. Only thing, I had just barely any room, and I could just reach down there with my Cold Steel knife and just push a slice right through that connector and popped it right off. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to close this video up. Listen, if you guys got any better knives you think that are than Cold Steel, let me know. I'll test it out. I need to open my mind a bit. Right now, I'm totally sold out on Cold Steel. But if you got something that's better, tell me why it's better. Tell me if you know of any lock that's better than the Triad lock. Myself have thought about locks that I would make if I was a knife maker, so on and so forth, for the perfect lock mechanism. But I think right now, Cold Steel has really got me convinced. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.